tonight on Live with Cordone and Kilgore.
In a world of seemingly endless entertainment options, one man,
My name is Barron Ryan.
a pianist from Tulsa, Oklahoma,
I already know what you're thinking, and the answer is yes, we do have pianos there.
is rewriting the rules for piano concerts. Performing arts presenters have praised his shows as highly entertaining, technically amazing, and richly felt, and proclaimed that our audience was raving about him the entire week. One concertgoer put it this way: his socks alone are worth the price of admission. With captivating storytelling and irresistible charm, Barron performs programs of selections from artists as varied as George Gershwin, Sergei Rachmaninoff, and Jackson 5. Forget what you thought a piano concert would be like and buckle up. It's not just jazz, classical, or pop, because in Barron Ryan's music, classic meets cool. Rated S for seriously, he's so good.
Right now on Live with Cordone and Kilgore. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live with Cordone and Kilgore. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Natalie Cordone.
And I am Sean Kilgore. Thanks for being here. It is Monday, June 14th, and this is episode 19. We're getting very close to a big landmark
big
number,
2-0.
right? The big 2-0. So episode 19 of Live with Cordone and Kilgore with our very special guest, an amazing pianist. You're not going to want to miss this episode. He is truly incredible. Mr. Barron Ryan is joining us this evening.
So welcome to all of you, whether you're listening to the audio podcast or if you're joining us live as we're streaming to you on the Cordone and Kilgore YouTube channel and Facebook page. Now, you can find us on all these pages through the magic of StreamYard, so welcome. Now, if you're joining us tonight on Facebook, please invite your friends to come along by sharing this live stream. And as always, we'll give you some instructions on how to do that. So you'll start by selecting share from the bottom left of your screen. You can see the big arrow pointing you there on the left. Then hit write a post also on your left. And finally, type a message to invite your friends to join us. And then just hit the blue post button. Hopefully, super easy peasy. And if you haven't yet, make sure that you've liked our page by going to Cordone and Kilgore on Facebook and tapping the little thumbs up like button to keep up with the latest Cordone and Kilgore news. There's also a new way to subscribe to when we're going to go live. And you'll do that by just hitting, there's a little bell that anytime during the broadcast, if you hit the bell, it should then let you know when we're going live. So you can also do that as well. But if you're joining us on YouTube, you can please like the video and subscribe to our channel, which is, of course, Cordone and Kilgore. Once again, we are not the most creative when it comes to naming things. But if you're watching us live, please comment and ask questions in the chat. We definitely want to know that you're here. So as always, we will promise to try to respond to as many of those questions, comments, concerns.
Because we're the complaint department now.
Yes, the complaint department. That would be Sean. He's the complaint department as possible. So yeah. So welcome everyone. We're so glad you're here.
Let's see who we got. We got, of course, the mamas.
The mamas.
Hello, Linda.
Ooh, hi, Lynn.
Faith, thank you very much for watching. That's perfect.
And we just want to say again to Faith and Don both, thank you so much for the memorabilia that you shared with us, the autographs that we used, we scanned and put into our show. If you didn't get a chance to see the live stream on Friday night, part of our show is talking about how we have heard these amazing stories about people who knew or worked with or had seen Stephen Eady perform live. And Don and Faith are such wonderful fans and friends of ours that they came through another one of our shows. We were doing a receiving line at the end, like a wedding where you get to shake everyone's hand. And they gave us their personal autographs that they had from Stephen Eady. And we just were so excited about it that we had to put it in the show. So we actually scanned them and Sean they were like on this huge screen. So we just wanted to say thank you so much.
The slide in here. That would have been perfect. But yeah, no, thank you again for that. Yeah, next week. We'll show it next
week.
We
just want to say that. Thank you. Thank you for being here as always. And thank you for your continued support.
Thank you for everyone who watched and joined us Friday night. It was a thrill to be back on stage. It really was. And we can't wait to do it again with more people in the audience. The people that were in the audience were awesome, though. I mean, it was really,
they were amazing.
Really nice.
Yeah. And they were the people.
Hello, Laurel.
Sorry.
Thank you for joining us. So sorry.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
Laurel. No, you're good.
Very nice. Let's see. I got my sister here. There's my cousin.
Hey,
hey Brian. We haven't seen Brian in a while, but he's working new schedule. No, that's okay. Hey, thanks for being here.
How dare you go save lives instead of watching our show where we
yeah.
Cool people.
We saw how we rate where your priorities lie. No, I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hey, love from Ohio. Hey, Eric.
Yay,
that's cool.
Hey, Eric.
Yeah. Oh, here's a question.
I have a question for Natalie.
Okay, that's a great question.
You can read it for our audio.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
fans?
yes. All right. So the question is, it's from Tabitha Kilgore Herrick, my sister. Says, I have a question for Natalie. Does anyone help you with your dress changes during the show? That's a great question, Natalie.
Yes, it's like the little birds that come out and help Snow White when she's getting changed. That's who I get. No, what's funny is that I have actually done. So for those of you who haven't seen the show, Sean and I typically do about 6 changes during the show. And their gowns and whatever that I'm changing into. And I have had to do it by myself. That's not fun. At this particular show, at this particular theater, I had a dresser. Her name was Aubin, and she was amazing. She was literally the only reason why I made it out on stage on time, and was so calm. Yes, I had a dresser. I did have help. Sean had to change all his pocket squares by himself, though.
All by myself. Nobody was there to help me with my tie. All by your
lonesome. Nope. But as I'm like feverishly changing earrings and stuff, yes, Aubin was amazing. She was hugely helpful. So those are the little birdies in the background.
Yeah, the entire staff there at the Grand Oshkosh was incredible. The fact that the show came out as smoothly as it did. I mean, these people. I mean, I know they're used to doing shows like this over and over and over. So they're used to, loading a show in, getting it down, and putting it out there. And man, I mean, you just never would expect that it would be as seamless as it was. It was incredible.
Yeah, no kidding.
Really incredible.
Yeah, they were great, and they took such good care of us. And we get to see parts of Oshkosh. There was a farmer's market that we went to that was super fun. And the food was amazing. I mean, there was great food and drinks everywhere. I was shocked.
We went for a really nice walk on Friday morning, the morning of the show. Natalie and I just by ourselves just went for a walk that morning and took a look at the some of the real estate in the town. It's a very, very old town. The theater was built in what? I don't know. What it's like 1800s.
Yeah, it was 1860 something, I want to say. I don't want to get it wrong, but it was within years of the house we stayed in. That was 1869. Maybe it was 1883. Don't get me wrong.
So beautiful old homes and the beautiful big lake Winnebago that we walked around. Yeah, Lake
Winnebago. Yeah,
yeah, it was a really good time.
Hey, Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Oh, she said thanks for answering the question. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I'd love to say that I do it all myself, and I have. It's just not nearly as fun. It's not good when I'm stuck doing it all alone.
A little easier. You get a moment to breathe, I guess, with the dresser, right?
It's so much better. I mean, she was literally waiting with my costumes when I would come off stage, and she'd be ready to do all the stuff, and it was just great. Yeah,
incredible.
Yes, I did have help.
Yeah,
it was awesome. So I'd say what'd you do this week, but I know exactly what you did this week. It was you put out an amazing show.
I was in your face the whole time.
You were singing in my face the whole week.
Right,
it was good though. It was the first time for me that I'd been on a plane since March of 2020, which was crazy considering that we were flying. I was in the airport at least 2, if not 4 times a month. And to go a year and a half, I had to relearn how to pack my suitcase. It was crazy. But someone asked me today, and I have to say that if you are headed to the airport or if you're getting on a plane, I would not be worried or concerned. It feels very comfortable. They're doing all the right things. The airport, I am TSA pre-check, global entry. I suggest everyone does it. It was not I didn't have a problem with TSA or anything like that because I did get questions about that this week as we were posting about our travels. But I just would, expect to take your patience with you as you're traveling because that's the thing that you need the most. But it was all very comfortable and easy.
How was your flight coming back? Because we didn't fly back together. So we got very lucky that ours was there and back. We all had a center seat between us. We had like plenty of space. It was very, very nice.
Good. Yes.
For you too? Oh, well, you were in first class, so you were.
I was in first class, not gonna lie. So my seat was perfectly.
Like
yeah, that's right. And it was so my flight back. Funny you should ask, Sean Kilgore. My flight back was interesting in that. So I flew from Oshkosh to Chicago.
All right.
Super easy, little bitty plane, right? It was fine. And I was learning a script. Oh, I told my mom the story today. So I had an audition today when I got back for a TV show. So yesterday I was learning the script while I was on the plane. So I was like using the seat in front of me as my camera. So I was like looking off to the left and off to the right and off to the left. And I think that the flight attendant thought that I'd lost my mind. She thought I was a little cuckoo. So anyway, so that was my little baby flight. But then once I got from Chicago back here, I was very grateful for being in first class, but we got to Orlando and there was so much rain and Sturm and Drang of whatever was going on that they circled Orlando for so long that they were about to run out of fuel that they sent us to Tampa to refuel. We sat down in Tampa for however long. And then we got back up in the air and flew back to Orlando. So I was like 3.5 hours late getting home last night. So It was just a really long day, but it was such a good week. I got to work with the Mixtape Live ladies who did a great job of putting up a show in like a week. And I got to have you guys and we were taken such great care of and the show was amazing. And it was great to be back on stage and the video was great.
Yeah. And we did when we landed, we ended up having to sit on the tarmac for almost an hour. We sat there. Waiting to get to the gate. I guess there was, issues with, planes or whatever, but still, yeah, but the same thing. Like we were all fine. Like we were all just talking and hanging out.
And easy. Yeah. So it was good.
It was great. So Faith says the theater opened August 9th, 1883.
So I was not wrong when I said 1883. Thank you. Thank you for knowing that. I did not know it was August 9th, not by any chance.
It is a beautiful theater.
Thank you, Laurel. Yes, it is. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And Joe Furlow, who we had on the show, was there, and so was Lisa Rock, our new manager. And the two of them were hooping and hollering in the audience for us, so we appreciated it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Hi,
Kathy. Hey, Kathy.
So she says, hello, everyone. So happy to be here for tonight's show. So we appreciate you being here. Yeah, cool. Well, excellent. I mean, I feel like they've seen enough of us. I think really everyone's here to see Barron.
Listen, I'm excited to see him too. So
yeah. His playing is out of this world. Super exciting. So Barron Ryan's love for music has always been divided, much like me and Sean, who we just want to play everything. He's, though, a son of two musicians. So he grew up in a house filled with the sounds of artists ranging from Mozart to Michael Jackson. Good people to be influenced by, that's for sure. So when it comes to his own performing, he's not content just drawing on one influence. Instead, he combines them all into a musical adventure that's vintage yet fresh, historical yet hip. He is classic yet cool. This is Barron Ryan.
Hello.
Hey, Barron,
hello, friends.
What's up?
Oh, I'm just enjoying your banter here, and I almost forgot that I was going to be part of the show too.
We're so excited you're here. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we are thrilled that you've taken the time because we know that you're about to tour again and that you're out playing, and we are thrilled to hear about all your success. And so we want to dive into what makes you such a unique artist, because you obviously are. Yeah, we love that your musical influences range from like classical to classic rock and everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us about how you got started in music? Because it sounds like it was not always a smooth path for you, right? Like the rest of us, there were little bumps along the way.
Well, yes, there are always bumps. So I got started because my dad's also a pianist, and I would see him play around Tulsa, which is where I'm from. And I would think, man, I want to get on stage and have people clap for me. So I started lessons with him when I was 4. And I got serious about it when I was in high school, went to the University of Oklahoma to get a piano performance degree, and then thought, and then I graduated. My dad and I decided that we would perform together, and that didn't go. We didn't become quite as famous, quite as fast as I thought would happen. Fancy that. And so I thought, well, I should get a graduate degree, I guess, because my professor had wanted me to do that. And so I thought I'm going to go to Juilliard or Eastman School of Music, some conservatory that's hot stuff, so that I can put that on my resume and I can also get better. And then everybody will just want to book me. Right, exactly.
That's right.
That's the only thing that was
goes.
missing. And I didn't get into any of those schools, any of those famous schools. And so I had to learn how to become an artist, how to connect with an audience. And I did that by accident, basically, by becoming a satirical hip hop artist. And so I learned how to market basically by making satirical hip hop before I got back into playing the piano.
That's amazing. I love that story. And just briefly, because I know Sean has some questions for you too, but I want to hear, what was it like taking piano lessons from your dad? Was it like the best thing ever, or was that just a tough dynamic? I would just imagine it'd be hard.
Taking lessons was fine. Practicing around him was a little bit more difficult because I couldn't get away with not playing what I was supposed to. He'd call out from the other room, "It's a G sharp, Barron," and that was a little annoying. But I actually had the opportunity to take lessons with a friend of the family who also taught piano, and her daughter was going to take with my dad. And Dad said, "Hey, we could do a switch if you want. You could take with her, and her daughter could take with me." And I said, "No, I kind of like it the way it is." So I didn't mind it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So your latest album is called First of Its Kind.
Yes.
That is available pretty much everywhere, right? Apple Music, Spotify. We can find it on your website. Can you tell us a little bit about the album and why was it time for an album like this that is the first of its kind?
It's so the first of its kind refers to the fact that I wrote all the music for it. It's written in classical forms, kind of. I wrote a sonata and a dance suite. But I wanted to bring classical music into the 21st century, even though most of the musical styles are from the 20th century originally. But I played George Gershwin and some other composers who used 20th century styles of music in classical forms, but they hadn't gone past jazz and ragtime. And I thought, well, where's the country waltz classical music? Where's the funk classical music? And I couldn't find it. So I thought, well, okay, I'll write it myself. So it's first of its kind because I wasn't aware that music existed already. I'm still not aware of it, but just in case it does, I'm not saying I'm the very first who did it, but I'm the first I know of. And it's the first of its kind because it's the first compositions that I've written. I wasn't really planning to become a composer. I had thought about it and thought it would be cool, but it only happened then because I had this problem to solve, and so I solved it, and that's what the new record is.
Very cool. Excellent.
And solved it well, you did.
Well,
I think it's such a cool, I think it's such a cool album, and I love what I love what you bring to the table as an artist. And the fact that you do make it, I think, more accessible to people who aren't necessarily in love with classical music already. Mm-hmm. I think if you haven't grown up with classical music, or you think it's stuffy, if you have that preconceived notion, I think you break all of those barriers in letting us feel like it's for us. Like we're young and hip and so maybe Sean and I aren't quite as young and hip and cool as we'd like to be, but I'm just saying it's amazing what you've done in
I was like, we are?
Forms. Yeah, right.
Yes, you are.
I think we've been old since we were born. I think that's the problem.
Well, that's the goal. But that's what I made my tagline, "Classic meets cool," almost 10 years ago. And I'm still continually pleased that that's what I chose, because I want that to be the case. I want people who aren't familiar with classical or with art music, whatever that may be, to feel like they can approach it and appreciate it. And I also want the art side, the art music, the classical listeners to listen and think, oh, well, I haven't heard this type of classical music before. I want both audiences to come together and find something to appreciate. And actually, so there are two main pieces on the album. There are 8 tracks total. 4 of them are from the dance suite and 4 of them are from the sonata. And the sonata is more for, although hopefully everybody can appreciate it, but it's a little more for the classical listener because it's almost 30 minutes of one musical work, even though it has funk and pop in it. But it's a little bit more, it's longer, and it's something that a classical listener could listen to and identify. Okay, this is the first movement because it does this, this, and this. But then the dance suite is more. It's inspired by Bach, and it's inspired by other great composers who wrote dance music in a higher with kind of an art music aesthetic. But it's the first song I wanted to sound like a pop song. I wanted it to sound like Billy Joel or Whitney Houston. And then the second song I wanted to sound like a 1950s Sam Cooke tune. And so they are written.
Awesome.
You can listen to it and you think, I feel like I know this music, even though I've never heard it before. That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's great.
And being done by a guy who can play classical music. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
There's a difference in the reverence for the music sometimes when people feel like, oh no, he can play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes a difference.
And again, just for
there.
everyone out there watching, the album's called First of Its Kind. It's available everywhere anywhere you listen to your music. So everyone out there, please go check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
And speaking of checking it out, the last question that I want to ask you real quick before we see a little bit of what you do is just, you mentioned that you are putting music out there for the people and the public domain, how much that means to you. So we know we can go to Amazon, we can buy your CD on your website, Spotify, Apple Music, but talk to us a little bit about the public domain and how you're using that to put music out there for folks.
Yeah, public domain was the way that music was published for hundreds of years, and only in the last 100 years has copyright really existed. And I view my music as a gift that I want the world to enjoy. And so if I want it to be heard, and if that it can be heard more if you don't have to ask my permission to use it, which is why I when I publish music, and when I have the ability to do it, when I'm playing my own music, I can't do it as easily when I'm playing other music that's copyrighted. But when I'm recording my own music, the works themselves are in public domain. So if you want to learn them, if you want to adapt them for your own ensemble and play the tunes that I've written, you're welcome to do that. And then the recordings themselves are also public domain. So if you want to choreograph a dance to it, or if you want to make a video to it, if you want to use it in a commercial or in a doctor's office, whatever you want to do, you don't have to ask my permission. You can just do it because I want the music that I make to be heard.
Accessible.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
And
Very
there's
nice.
also sheet music available on your website, right? So if somebody wanted to go learn it, they could pop that sheet music up off your website.
Yes, the digital downloads are free. In fact, the album is free to download as well. Like you said, it's available on all the streaming platforms, and you can buy a copy. And then if you want to buy a copy of the sheet music and have it shipped to you, then you can do that too. But yes, the sheet music is available, so you can find out exactly what I wrote, exactly what notes I'm playing, and then adapt it for yourself or learn it yourself. I hope that I want, if you like it, that I want you to use it and find as many people who can use it as possible.
That's amazing. We love
Incredible.
that. Well, knowing that everyone is going to run out and buy your album, right? Because we want to make sure that artists are also taken care of.
Yes.
We want to see a little of what you do. So I believe that we have Out for Delivery is the song we're about to see. So Sean, if you would, Mr. Producer, if you'd throw it on the record player.
Is there anything you want to say about it? You want to set it up a little? Or?
This is the opening track of the album, and this is the one that's supposed to sound like a 1980s kind of pop tune. So it's very energetic, but it gets a little bit more adventurous. Each verse is different, and so this is actually my favorite from the dance suite. So
excellent.
Yes,
So
I'm glad you chose this one.
Out for Delivery.
Yay!
Incredible.
I loved it.
Absolutely.
And so did our audience, obviously, since they kept commenting on how amazing it was. Yay!
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely
and somebody was writing. I don't know who it was, but somebody said that you should write us an original song. So we would like to piggyback on that.
That could be arranged.
We'll sing. We'll sing whatever you want, anytime. That could be arranged.
I see. Yeah,
that's good. I see what you did there.
Oh,
that was so fun. I'm so glad everyone got a chance to hear how brilliant and talented you are. But will you stick around with us for just a few more minutes? Do you have a few more minutes to hang? Okay.
Sure.
So I know we're running out of time, but before we let you go, each week we like to take a moment to get to know our guests and our audience a little bit better. This is a segment we call Getting to Know You, which is a series of questions that are randomly pulled from a deck of cards called Pod Decks, who are our first official sponsor for the show. And now it's time for Getting to Know You, powered by Pod Decks.
This edition of Getting to Know You is powered by Pod Decks, the hottest new tool for podcasters and can make for a fun night at home, too. Simply shuffle up, ask a question, and let the good times roll. Check out poddecks.com and use code GOODVIBES for 10% off your order.
All righty. It is time for Getting to Know You. Here is question number one.
Question number one.
Question number one. Okay. Do you prefer a fancy restaurants or like local dive places?
A fancy restaurant, because I too am bougie.
Ah, okay. All right.
We're going to get along just fine, Barron. You and I are going to be just fine.
Perfect.
I too will take the fancy restaurant for one, please. Yes.
I just went to one on Thursday that I hadn't been to, a new one here in Tulsa, or it's been around for a couple of years, but I hadn't been to it yet. And I just needed an excuse. So I had a big project that I finished. And so I thought, okay, now I could go. And it was delightful.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love a good restaurant. I like good food, and I'm not going to make it myself. Like the stuff they make, I can't make at home. Right. So,
right. So this place where I went, they make this pasta with Parmesan in a wheel of cheese that's this big around, and it costs $600. And
what?
They scrape out some of this cheese, and then it's I forget. I was just mesmerized by the whole thing, and then they put it on the pasta, and it tastes amazing. So yeah. I'm not going to get a $600 wheel of Parmesan cheese.
Yeah, so. I don't think I'm going to be made by like nuns in, I don't know, wherever. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to be doing the $600 pasta, but that sounds like a good time.
But I'll
go if somebody's buying.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. Who's buying? That's a good question.
Right? Yeah. That's the question.
It was a business expense.
Sean,
it was
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was a meeting.
Yeah, sure.
I can appreciate a fancy night out. But if I would say I prefer like a local that's owned by somebody I know, or where I know the people that work there. Yeah, I just I enjoy that, but I do appreciate a fine dining experience. That's not to say that I don't. Let's see what everyone else out here is saying. Support local restaurants.
Let's not assume that because it's fine dining, it's not local.
Well, that's very true.
The place I went was local.
That's very true.
I would agree with that. Maybe we can marry the two.
Yeah,
that's like Dave says. What about a fancy dive?
Exactly. Thank you, Dave.
I read that first and it said fancy diva, and I was like, yes, I'll take a fancy diva. I'll take one of those too. Thank you very much.
We already have one of those. We're all full up. We have our quota.
We have plenty of fancy divas. There's only one. You have to be able to drive through my restaurants. That's okay. That's fair. Fancy. I'm with you, Eileen. I'm with you.
Yeah, love both. Awesome. All right. We ready for question number 2? Very good.
Question number 2.
Okay. What is the first movie that you remember seeing in a movie theater?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have that distinct memory. I remember the first CD that I ever bought, which is a soundtrack. So I'm going to just answer that question.
That's cool. We'll take that.
It's the first CD I ever bought was the Space Jam soundtrack, and I do not regret that in the least.
Okay.
That is great.
Yeah.
That is great.
I can get behind that. So do we want to? Okay. All right. So we're going to answer.
You can answer either one. I suppose you can answer the one that came from the.
No, it's all right. I think it's a good question too. I like answering both because I can remember mine too. So.
Yeah. So
for
for
it.
me, I don't remember the first movie I ever saw, but I know that my mom has told me that it was The Wizard of Oz. That's like the first thing she took me to. It was like a release. I'm not 500 years old, but she took me to the release of The Wizard of Oz yet again, and I was like 4, and apparently was mesmerized. Which have you guys gone back and watched The Wizard of Oz now as an adult?
Yeah, a couple times.
Not all the way through. No.
It's so different to watch it as an adult because now our experience of going to the movies, right? Like it in Technicolor, it was so beautiful, and now you can like see where the backdrop like hits the stage. Like it's so different now than it was. But I was apparently mesmerized. And my very first CD that I ever had was "Faith" by George Michael.
Oh, nice.
That was my first CD.
That's cool.
So. Sean, how about you?
So my first movie, and my sister's saying she's like, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Cinderella that we went to see in the theater. Obviously not like
that's good
in its first, but I think it was like a re-release. I don't know. I just have a vague memory of that being the first thing. But E.T. could have been it also.
E.T. scared the bejesus out of me when I was little.
Really?
It did. It scared me a lot. Like all those the guys in the white suits like coming into the house, and
yeah, it does get
he was
creepy.
like, there's a lot of scary things about E.T. for me. I don't like it.
I just remember crying at the end when E.T. had to go home.
E.T.
And then my first CD, I believe, was Natalie Cole, "Unforgettable," the first one that I actually like bought myself.
Oh,
yeah.
Good choice.
Okay, that was a really good choice. Like
very classy of you.
Right? Yeah.
You're belying your time.
Like
That's what Natalie said. Like Natalie said, I've been old since I was born. Like my taste in everything is like classic and old, and I'm like one of those people that I feel like I was born in the wrong time period. You know, my sister thinks it's E.T. We got Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, totally, such a good movie.
Somebody said, I Want to Hold Your Hand, the Beatles.
Okay,
Josh,
that's good too.
What's that? What's that?
That's just old lady. It's just an old lady emoji. Thanks, Josh. I have an eerie feeling that would be directed at me. It's all right. I'll take it. I'll take it, Josh.
Got it. Let's see. Oh, Laurel says she hates the flying monkeys.
I'm so with you there, Laurel. Laurel's got good taste in everything, though, so including artists. Greetings from
Julie.
Napa. What's up?
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Grandma Natalie.
Awesome. Yeah,
Okay.
That would be me.
Here we go. First CD was Classic Queen.
Nice. Yes,
very nice.
That's good.
All right, here we go. Ready for question number 3?
Ready.
Question number 3.
Who is your favorite movie actor or actress?
Oh, I don't really have one. I don't. Let's see. I like. Okay, I'm gonna pick my own question again. My favorite movie director and writer is Christopher Nolan.
Oh, okay.
He's somebody that I have a strong. If anything that he puts out, I go to see it. So I don't really have a great. I can't think of an actor or an actress that I get really excited about.
Yeah. Natalie?
That was a bougie answer. I like you, Barron. I like you more and more. The longer we talk. Like,
I'm
I
gonna
can't
just
be bothered with the
reframe
actors,
this.
but
So
the auteur that I'm most interested in would be Christopher Nolan. I love it.
I love it. Yeah, it is.
I love it. So how about you, Mr. Kilgore?
Oh, I don't know. There's many. It is hard to choose. I mean, Bette Midler, but I like her for many other things other than the movies that she's done. I don't know. That is a tough one. Tom Hanks. I've always loved Tom Hanks.
Who doesn't love Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
You have to be a communist not to love Tom Hanks. I would say, I think for me, it's Sandra Bullock. I know that's like very obvious, but I like almost all her movies. Although apparently this bird cage thing, not bird cage. I love the bird cage. That's not what I'm talking about. That whatever Bird Box, is that the thing she did on Netflix? I couldn't even watch it.
No.
Like I couldn't even come close to it. But in general, I am a fan. I'm a fan of hers. And I love the fact that she's also a producer and she makes her own work and she hires a lot of women and she seems to just love everybody and everyone loves her. And apparently she writes very good thank you notes, which also makes me like her even better.
There was a period in my life where I watched Miss Congeniality over and over and over again.
That's really funny.
Okay, I do have an answer to that question now. Jason Bateman.
Okay, good.
Oh, that is good.
I love Jason Bateman.
Me too.
Oh, I do. I love Jason Bateman. Yeah. Did you watch Ozark? You watched Ozark, I'm assuming.
I did. I didn't finish it. I like him a lot from Arrested Development, and then I like him a lot from Game Night, I think it was. That was
Which one
really
was that?
funny.
Was
It
that
was a
about-
comedy with Rose Byrne, I believe. Is that her name?
Oh, I love her.
Okay.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that whole movie was really funny. But Ozark, I couldn't. The children were too annoying to me. I thought I can't abide these upstart children. So I stopped
Baron,
watching.
I think maybe we're too much alike. I think maybe that's why we haven't met yet.
I think you
that
guys are going to be
we can-
besties after this.
Right? Only
I'm
one of us can
excited.
occupy a space at a time. That might be. I felt the exact
All right, we
same
got
way.
some
I
people
liked it, but
saying,
yeah. Oh, good.
I don't really know. I don't know who that is. Rufus.
You got me.
Dave, of course you would be just too smart for us, and we don't know who Rufus Sewell is. Tom Hanks, I'm with you.
Dad's
is Matthew.
Matthew who?
Like Broderick?
McConaughey?
Matthew Modine?
It could be any.
Bradley Cooper. Yes.
Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
Oh, Audrey Hepburn.
And Audrey Hepburn. I mean, yes. If we're talking ever had it, yes. I was trying to go, like now.
Current.
But yes. Jennifer Hudson, amazing. Hugh Jackman. Oh, and yes, current would be the word I was looking for. That was at the bottom of the wine bottle, was the word current. Yes.
I thought you would have seen it by now then.
That was good.
Oh, that was good. That was very, very, very good.
And on that
my
note,
goodness.
that completes this edition of Getting to Know You. Very nice.
Woohoo! Oh my goodness. And speaking of that, it completes our 19th episode of Live with Cordone and Kilgore. So, Barron, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You can, of course, find all of Barron's albums. Like we said earlier, he's got Classical with Attitude, The Master's Apprentice, and First of Its Kind, all available on Spotify, Apple Music, and on his website, which is barronryan.com. So we appreciate you taking the time to join us, of course, whether live or watching or listening later in the week. And thank you to our guest tonight. Once again, thank you, Ryan. This is the bottom of the barrel. So now we're going to leave you with cheers. We're going to leave you with a quick number for one of our shows. So don't forget to ring the bell there on your Facebook page. Just tap right on there to get notified of when we're coming online, so that you'll be the first to know when we go live. So we will see you again soon. Have a wonderful
just to not leave anybody hanging. McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. I'll take that. It was a good answer. It was a good answer.
Have a great week, everybody.
We'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Now tonight we leave you with some good advice from the musical Bye Bye Birdie.
There are guys just ripe for some kissing, and I mean to kiss me a few. Oh, those guys don't know what they're missing. I got a lot of living to do.
And there's wine all ready for tasting, and there's great big cars all shiny and new. I gotta move, 'cause time is a-wasting. There's such a lot of living to do. There's music to play, places to go, people to see. Everything for you and me. Life's a ball,
Life's a ball.
if only you know it.
And it's all just waiting for you.
You're alive, so come on and show it. There's such a lot of living to do. There's music to play, people see. Everything for you and me. Life's a ball,
Life's a ball.
if only you know it.
You better know it, and it's all,
Yes, it's all
just waiting for you.
You're alive, so come on and show it. There's such a lot of living to do. So live it up,
Laugh it up,
love it up.
don't give up.
Don't sit back and wait for it. You gotta put out your bait for it. You never wanna be too late for it. He's the call you all like the ball. If only you know it.
And it's all just waiting for you.
You're alive, so come on and show it. There's such a lot of singing, such a large amount of swinging. There's